Hi guys, benvenuti a Roma, welcome to Rome.
And this is one of the most ancient markets?
Yes, as I was telling you, this is one of the most ancient markets of the city of Rome. Let me remove my glasses. You know, Italians, these are parts of our bodies, so we sometimes forget we have them on. Yes, we are in Campo De Fiori, and this is one of the most ancient markets of the city. This is a historical market, and we have different kind of stands. We have food, spices, clothes. Should we have a look at what's inside?
I'm so excited. So today we're being joined by Federica. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist, and Federica, you are a live virtual tour guide.
Yes, I'm a live virtual guide, and what I do is live virtual tours of Rome that you can join, where we connect through a video call, and I take you around, I show you around, and you can ask me questions, almost as I want you to feel as if you're walking next to me. And from time to time I do also live streaming, that's why I'm so excited to join you on this live streaming today. And welcome to Rome, Ariel.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so awesome to be in Rome. So where are we located right now in Rome?
We are in the very heart of the city of Rome, and precisely in Campo De Fiori. Now, for those of you, some of you are familiar with the city a little bit, Piazza Navona is on that side. Well, that side, we will walk that way soon. And if we, let's say, an aerial direction behind the buildings, that's where the Tiber River is, the river that crosses the city of Rome.
Oh,
and yeah, we are in the very heart of the city. And this place is called Campo De Fiori, which literally translates into the fields of flowers. Why the fields of flowers? Because until the 1400s, this land was entirely covered with flowers.
It was?
There weren't buildings, there weren't cobblestones. These are the cobblestones typical of Rome. Maybe you've seen them during the streamings, huh?
Right.
And there was just a field of flowers as a gradient going into the river, almost as if it was a beach. The river is nearby. Later on, it was paved, buildings were built around it, and in the 1800s, this market was moved from Piazza Navona to here. And since then, didn't go anywhere. So this market happens every single day in the morning, only in the morning. So in the afternoon you won't find a market, and you have like kitchenware, and you have like fruits and vegetables.
We even have the zucchini flowers, right?
Yeah, the zucchini flowers. We eat them like fried or with pasta.
Pumpkin flowers. Pumpkin flower, this one.
C'hai ragione.
Grazie, grazie.
We've just been told
Perdonare.
Scusaci, grazie per averci potuto. These are the zucchini flowers. The other ones are pumpkin flowers.
They look very
precise,
similar. Yeah.
And have you tried this friggitelli as well? This is called friggitelli.
I have not.
Mamma mia, oggi non ci capisco più niente. I friggitelli ce l'hai? Infatti dicevo, non l'ho mai visti gialli. Ma sono grandi quei peperoncini. E questo che cos'è? La zucca piccola?
Oh.
Ok, I need to study some fruits and vegetables. Che cos'è questa? Okay, guys, here you have the most special fruits and vegetables.
Ground cucumber. Oh, wow, okay. That's a very round cucumber.
You're witnessing myself discovering ripe cucumber, never seen. Okay, this is friggitelli.
This is Urbanist exploring cities, not Urbanist exploring agriculture.
Yes.
But we'll get there.
This is part of the experience as well. Have you ever seen this, Ariel?
No, I have not seen this. Oh, well, it looks similar to a pepper.
Yes, it's like a pepper, and it's called friggitelli. You basically, when you cook them, you punch them, you make holes so that the hair goes out, and then you put them in a pan with oil, and then you fry them. That's why it's called friggitelli, because you kind of fry them. And they're so good. And then you eat them like this. That's it. Very simple and super good.
I love the fried treats here in Rome. There's so many of them.
Yeah. And also, you know, when you fry things, everything tastes good afterwards. So here we have many different kind of goods. There was a philosopher that was put at stake in here, as many others, because this was Campo De Fiori was a place where public condemnations were taking place, and Giordano Bruno was one of those. Have you heard of Giordano Bruno before?
I have. I did cover him when I came here in 2019.
Yes.
But please refresh my memory and all of our collective memories.
Yes, and guys, if you have any questions anyway, just pop them in the chat. And,
George is asking what happened with Giordano Bruno.
What happened? Basically, he had some ideas.
Yeah.
And his ideas were, in very short, that a man should elevate himself through knowledge. You have to imagine that in the 1500s. In the 1600s, Rome was under the control of the Pope. There was the papal state.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really a democracy. And, Giordano Bruno was saying to people, you should study, get knowledge, and make decisions and follow rules because you actually understand them. You just not follow the established power just because that's the way it is. You should understand what you're told and what you're told to do and why you should behave like that. These ideas, of course, were not really, didn't really make the Pope happy and the Church in general happy. So he was considered an heretic. He was asked to please withdraw these ideas. He refused. So imagine how confident he was about what he was saying. He was really convinced of that. And in the end, on a cold morning of February 17th of the year 1600, Giordano Bruno was put at stake. Is that how you say? Put a stake? When you put on fire someone?
Oh, and burned at the stake.
Yeah, he was burned at the stake, and
no.
he died in here, in front of, just in this very spot. And
this is where they burned him?
Yes, exactly. Of course, they didn't place the statue in here right away. They did that more than 200 years later because it was an heretic, so the church will never allow this statue to be in here. But only in the 1800s, a group of students fought so much for having this statue of Giordano Bruno in here because Giordano Bruno since then represents the freedom of thought, the freedom of speech.
Right.
And only in the 1800s, after the Pope wasn't anymore in the control of Rome, they managed to put this here in this square where, by chance, there's no church. In Rome,
yeah, you're right. There is no church. Let me show 360 because just to usually every single square and piazza in Italy has a church. Same thing in Puerto Rico, where I'm originally from, and in Spanish culture as well. So it's very rare. Why isn't there a church here?
And in Rome, there's over 900 churches, so it's very difficult to find a square with no church. And because this is a statue of an heretic, he was placed, it was allowed to place it in here because there's no church, so it doesn't conflict so much with
And according to legend, he's facing the Vatican.
Yes, the Vatican is that direction, precisely, yes. He's
staring down the Vatican. And people are campaigning for him to be redeemed somehow, right?
Yes, he still today represents the freedom of speech. And also, like, for example, you see that note over there?
Yeah.
This is, we will see that later as well. This is more, don't know who wrote in particular, Caco 69, I don't know. Anyways, this is one of these, the points in the city where people attach pieces of paper with like poems related to some criticism about society, about the established power and things like that. So this is still today somehow a symbol of the freedom of thought. So like we are free to express our thoughts anyhow. So yeah, and let's dive in something more, a little bit more cheerful.
Here's him being burned at the stake.
Yeah. Oh yes, exactly. That's the scene.
That's the scene. Wow.
And of course, when people were condemned publicly, people, the rest of the revolution was attending.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a kind of like educational, let's say, from the established power to see this is what happens to you if you don't behave. So be careful.
Edward. From Netherlands sends a €5 super chat and he says, "Coffee for Federica." No, not you, Ariel, just for Federica.
Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat. Do consider, if you're enjoying this tour, consider going to livevirtualguide.com and book a tour with her, virtual tour. You offer virtual tours all around Rome, so you'll be able to experience this even more in depth than other places. So let's continue walking around.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions about Giordano Bruno?
No, but I'm very curious. When did this turn into a cobblestone street?
It was in the 1400s. In the 1400s, you need to imagine that in the 1400s, only this block of buildings was in here. It was belonging to a very rich family of Rome, the Orsini family. And then this was just fields. And then in the 1480s, this turned into cobblestones. These cobblestones are called San Pietrini. San Pietrini, why? Which means Little St. Peter, because the first square that was actually covered in cobblestones was St. Peter Square. And since then, these are just called San Pietrini still today, and they are made of volcanic stone. The ancient Roman roads were made of basalt stones of this material, like bigger blocks of stones, and yeah.
They're volcanic, interesting. That's why they're so dark.
Yeah.
And it's very iconic to Rome.
Oh yes, it is, and yeah. So now, guys, I'm going to show you something. Maybe Ariel, you let me know if you've seen this before.
Okay.
This is a secret, huh? So make sure you share it only with the special ones, so those who deserve.
Don't tell anyone, otherwise the ghost of Bruno will haunt you.
Exactly. So look at this. Can you see? Look at this building. Can you see like this kind of peculiar architecture?
That is very peculiar. Yeah.
There's like little columns sticking out. Those are not ancient, and that's not an ancient building, but it kind of recalls something ancient. In fact, this recalls a shape of an ancient building that was right in here. Because you need to imagine that where today is Campo De Fiori, there used to be an ancient Roman theater, the theater of Pompey. And now the theater is not there anymore, but we'll still be able to see a little bit of it. So
cool.
Let's go this way. And
so it extended all the way over here.
So basically the theater was, the ancient Roman theater is like a semi-elliptical shape, half of an ellipsis. And this was the closest point to Campo De Fiori, and then from here you will have this shape, let's say, okay? It will become more obvious as we go there, so you understand what I mean. So let's go this direction.
Joe says, "I love he loves your accent."
Oh, thank you.
I love how Italians pronounce urbanist.
Urbanist.
Oh, you said it. You said more Italian in your Instagram story.
Urbanist.
Urbanist.
Urbanist. Okay.
Urbanist.
How do you say it?
Urbanist.
Urbanist.
Yeah, there we go. That was a good American accent.
That's not a lettered sound that we have. Urbanist.
Really?
Urbanist.
Yeah.
No.
That's why when I tell people the name of my channel, they're like, "What? What are you talking about?" Yeah.
It's like when you say I say live virtual guide.
Yeah.
You say live virtual.
Virtual, yeah.
Virtual. I don't say that.
There we go. And do you have a YT, a YouTube channel?
Yes, I have a YouTube channel which is called Live Virtual Guide.
On all the channels, including TikTok and
sorry.
Instagram.
Yeah, I'm basically on every social media.
Yeah.
I'm mostly on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And on YouTube, and I'm on Twitch. I'm not there regularly actually, but I'm there as well. On Twitter, on whatever you want. If you hear about another social media coming up, let me know so I can add myself in there.
Right.
But mostly Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Yeah.
All right. So
here we are in Piazza Del Bishone, and just look at the details of these palaces. Look at can you see on top of the windows there's like lions, and each one of them has a slightly different position.
Oh, they do. They have a slightly different position. Oh, interesting. They're resting in a different way.
And look at that building. Can you see those windows up there?
Yes, they look rather ancient.
Yeah, that one. And they have like this medieval style because there was a medieval palace. When Campo De Fiori was just a field, these blocks of buildings was existing already, and that was belonging to the Orsini family. And
they really reuse buildings here in Rome.
Yeah, we do a lot of building recycling in Rome.
Yeah.
We don't throw away anything.
No.
Including the ancient ruins.
So let me pause you there for a second because we won't be seeing this today, but the Piazza Caracalla was used for one of the greatest architectural marvels in New York City history, and we destroyed it to build a huge sports arena.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
So I'm glad here that they keep on reusing.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't behave so well for all of this time.
Right,
Imagine that, like in the Middle Ages, especially in the Renaissance period, a lot of ancient ruins were used as quarry for materials.
Yes.
Imagine, the Colosseum. And I guess even if you've never been, everybody knows how the Colosseum looks like. Haven't you noticed the Colosseum is a little bit broken?
It seems broken. It
Just
seems like
a little bit. Basically, only 1/3 of the Colosseum is still standing today. The rest was reused as a quarry for materials for churches' facades, for private building facades. Mamma mia, a mess. But then everything stopped, thankfully, and yeah.
That's funny. Oh.
So,
where are we going?
Are you ready, guys? We're going now to be in. We're going to go into this little alley. Actually, it's not even an alley. It's a passetto. It's a passage.
Passetto.
It's called Passetto del Bishone.
Is this how someone travels back in time to ancient Roman
times? So are you guys ready? Sit down, and hold tight. Okay, let's go inside. Look at this. Look at the ceiling, how pretty it is, and everything is covered with fresco. We have this angel holding the garland, and then with the sky in the background, and then we have these fake architectures with garlands as well, and then we have this Madonna. Yes, we have tons of these around Rome, and each neighborhood takes care of the Madonna. Bringing some flowers, lighting up a candle, and things like that. So, okay, this is a secret passage, but what is this? Come in here, I'll show you something. If you look at this, you see this reconstruction? That's basically the theater of Pompey, okay? So this is an ancient Roman theater. This is how theater looked like. Here you have the stage, let's say, and here you have the seats. And this part in here, that was a temple, the temple of Venus. Do you remember earlier I was telling you about those columns integrated in that building? Yeah. That we saw in Campo De Fiori? That's to recall the shape of this temple that was on top of the theater.
Oh, so they're paying homage to the theater, but they're not using the same materials.
No.
Well, that column in particular did not look old.
No, not that one. No, that doesn't look old. But some of the materials of this theater are still in here, underground. Now it will all make sense. What is this passetto? This passetto is nothing else than a corridor, one of the corridors of the ancient theater of Pompey. So, if now we are in here, and we're going to go through the corridor, we will end up inside the theater. Oh. Now the theater does not exist anymore, but we're still going to be able to see it a little bit. Are you curious?
Yeah, that is so interesting. So we might be walking the same footsteps as Pompey, Crassus, Julius Caesar, Simba, all these famous people.
Exactly. So now we're going to go done a streaming about Largo di Torre Argentina, where Caesar was killed.
Yes. Yesterday, that's where we ended.
Yes, and that is basically part of the complex that included this theater. That area was an area of temples, then there was a huge portico with gardens, and then there was this theater at the end of it. So everything makes sense when you start connecting the dots.
So let me show a little bit around before we continue walking around, give everyone a view. Clement says, if only you had the money that Crassus had. Well, Crassus was the richer of the three, right?
yes.
Pompey, Julius,
even though,
and Crassus.
well, actually, Julius Caesar, it is estimated that today he will be the richest man on earth.
He would have been, if Crassus would have died.
So here you have like little shops and.
This is something not mentioned in the guidebooks.
No.
They just say go to the Largo de Argentina to see the Theater Pompey, but not here. Yeah.
No, that's very few people. None of my friends knew about this place until I told them.
Do you know what these holes are usually in these sides of buildings?
I'm not sure, but it looks like this tunnel, this corridor was actually extended. So these probably, they look like fixing holes for a wooden platform that was on top, as well as, on the very top there's like some nails of metal.
Oh, we can see the outline basically of the extension of the building.
Probably, yeah. Oh. Many times they were extending buildings, especially in the Middle Ages. Sometimes you see arches between two buildings. That's because they extended the property without closing the street below. So that way you just build on top of it, and that's how they used to do before.
And here we see the outline of the arch right there.
Exactly, yeah. This has been restored or renovated just a few years ago. It was totally abandoned for some time. It was at some point it was even closed on one side, so not many people know this place, even also because of that. It's just been reopened recently.
And tourists barely know about this because I have not seen tourists kind of wander in here.
Yeah. So you see, that's put it on your bucket list, Piazza Del Bishone.
Everyone, lips. But yes, indeed. That's so cool. Wow, thank you for taking us here.
My pleasure. So now we go outside.
Joe asked, do you do in-person group tours?
Yes, I also do in-person tours in private versions. So I do, on request, I do
and
private.
Behind you.
So action place. Yeah, and also, I think you need to show this sign, a very random sign, Campo De Fiori.
That is a random sign.
Yeah, the very handmade, let's say. So now we exit this, and if you look at on the right, look at this building.
Ah, it's rather circular, it's rather curved.
Exactly, it recalls the shape of the theater of Pompey. Exactly. So basically, I never managed to go inside. The day I managed, I'm just gonna run inside and go and look for it. But apparently, in the foundation of this building, you have ruins of the theater of Pompey. So, yeah.
Wow. So here we see El Giusto?
No, this is the church of Sant'Andrea della Valle.
Okay.
Yeah, the church of Sant'Andrea della Valle, and I think this is one of the most photogenic corners of Rome. I mean, how amazing is this?
Wow.
And
let me zoom in on the details over here, and let me say hello to a few people before we continue walking around.
Yeah.
Kurihara, hello Janice. Morning Kay, Susie and Joe. George says it must have been the canopy back in the day. Yes, it was. Good morning to everyone, says Phil. Dwayne says the acoustics sound so different from the inside compared to the outside. They do indeed. And Mauro says, buongiorno Mauro. And please go to the Pantheon. The Pantheon, I did it in my first video, check it out. And if you only had that money that Cressa said, oh yes, I already read that. And Fiori translates it to flower, it does indeed.
Yes, exactly. Where is everyone connecting from?
Yes, do let us know. We usually have people from the UK, Ireland, lots of people from America. We have many Filipinos tuning in. So,
nice.
Kumusta ka to Ronaldo and all the other Filipinos.
But this is so cool, you know, when you think of so many people all over, you know, in any corner of the planet, and now you're walking next to us in Rome. This is super cool.
I'm still waiting for the Italians to tune in, because when I went to Greece, I had so many Greeks watching my videos. But Italians, not so much yet.
No? Okay. They're at the beach today, so
you're right.
on vacation. So this dome. Now, question for you: what is the biggest, the tallest dome? The tallest, not the biggest.
Sorry, let me interrupt you 1 second because we have a follower that's also of yours who watches my show, Anfal from Malaysia.
Oh yes, I saw that. Yeah, ciao Anfal.
So what were you saying?
Okay. Yeah. Question for you: what is the biggest? No, not the biggest. The tallest. What is the tallest dome in Rome?
Well, I can answer that, but everyone answer that in the comments. I'll read a few of them as we show a little bit more of the details. Salom from Israel, welcome. Hello, Chris from Winnipeg. Sunshine, good morning. Good morning from Sweden. Ea, nice to see you here. Welcome from Sweden. And George from San Diego. Yes, Ken from Australia. Let us know, what's the biggest dome in Rome? All right, so we got Janice who says the Vatican. So, St. Peter's Basilica.
St. Peter's, exactly. That's St. Peter's Basilica, that's the tallest. Now, what's the second tallest dome in Rome?
So I'll make the guess immediately. I would say it's Lateran.
No.
Ooh, interesting. Oh, I don't know then. The second tallest.
It's right in front of us.
It's this one, okay.
Yes.
This one's taller than Lateran, interesting.
Yes, it is. And this is the church of Sant'Andrea della Valle. Sant'Andrea della Valle. And, okay, now, if you want to be picky, the second tallest dome is actually a new church, which was built in 1930s, and that's the church of San Pietro e Paolo in Eur district.
Yes.
But we want to stay romantic, and we want to just consider the ancient churches. So most commonly, this is referred to as the second tallest dome in Rome, after St. Peter. Yeah, and this is one of my favorite corners to take pictures. This is just really, really cool. And yeah.
Rosaline says I'm early today. Yes, indeed I am.
Yes.
Because I have a lot of people.
Do you usually stream later in the evening?
I am, yeah, 6 p.m.
Okay. So I got you out of bed so early today.
You did.
So, now you know what we can do? I want to show you something that even if you've been to Rome, you've never seen before, because it's something super new and temporary.
Oh.
Shall we go?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
So now we're going to walk back to the Passetto.
Any excuse to walk back through this amazing passageway.
Yes, and also this, look at this. This is a chapel, used to be a chapel, of the Orsini family. You remember I was telling you that medieval house that was in there, that was today it's a modern building. That was the very rich family, Orsini family, and they also had a private family chapel in here, which is this one, which has been the consecrated. How you say this? The
consecrated.
The consecrated, and today it's an art gallery and bar. A lounge bar.
It's a bar. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, right now it's closed, but yeah, this is open and you basically enter into a church.
Would you recommend it? Is it nice inside?
I never actually had any drink or food in there, but there's also an art gallery, so it's definitely worth going to have a look inside. It's very, very particular inside. It's a very curious place. Yeah, and also this is one of the doors that leads into this private chapel.
Bar.
yeah. This goes into the bar. Yes, guys, this is even more secret. Okay, so you can knock and say Federica sends me here. That's a key word.
Right.
So now we are back into the square. And did you have nice food in Ariel in Rome?
Yeah, of course. I've had
What's
amazing...
your favorite dish that you had so far?
Carbonara and cacio e pepe.
That's you have very good taste.
Yeah. What do a lot of Americans say? Pizza, probably say pizza. A lot of Americans say.
Carbonara and cacio e pepe are very typical of Rome, actually. So that's.
They are. I mean, that's why I'm eating all of it, all the cacio e pepes.
Have you tried pizza?
I have tried the pizza. I love the Roman pizza.
But like not the round pizza, the ones that you eat like a street.
Yes, the Roman pizza that's cut by your set size that you want and weighed by pound. Yes, and I absolutely love that pizza. I've shown it many times here in my show. And we also now are starting to have it in New York, which is very nice.
Okay. Yeah. So now let's walk this direction.
So random question that I'm curious about is, in places like Paris and New York, the best restaurants will usually be in these piazzas. But restaurants here are not like the best. Usually the best ones are in the side.
That's a very good question. And
do you know why?
Because these places, they usually attract tourists because they are, very easy, very accessible from. And yeah, I have to say that it's very easy in Rome to fall into a scam in terms of food. So it's really important that you ask for advice to someone that is from here. If you take a tour guide, it's nice if you ask them to recommend you a place. Because I even fell into scams sometimes. So yeah, it's just because it's, you're a tourist in Rome, it gets really hot in the summer, and then, I just want to have a bite, I don't care, I don't want to look for a place. Right. And then, you're in Campo De Fiori visiting the square, and then you just end up sitting in there because it's there, it's nearby. But I'm not saying that all of those places are not good, but you're risking, very likely that you're going to fall into a tourist trap.
More money for food that's mediocre.
It's not so much about the money, but it's about the quality.
The quality.
For example, once I wanted to have dinner myself in front of the Pantheon, and I was looking at the menu, those tables outside on the cobble streets.
Yes.
And I saw that it says, with an asterisk, with a little star, pizza is frozen. I was like, what? So then I just walked away. But, so some of those places are super delicious, but you may find, some tricky places.
It's good to know, yeah.
Anyways, we are in Piazza Fernandez now. Look at this. Let's walk that direction so we have a better view of this installation.
And that name sounds also very familiar, Farnese.
Farnese. Have you heard of the Farnese?
I've heard of the Farnese bull in Naples.
Okay.
So it was a huge bull commissioned by the family. But I don't know too much about them yet.
So the Farnese family was a very rich family in Rome in the 1500s. And one of them became Pope, Alexander VII. And basically, that's this is their own family palace, and basically, Palazzo Farnese, which today houses the French embassy. So that's the French embassy in Rome, and they're doing some renovation work. So the French embassy said, you know what, guys, artists out there in the world, if you want to decorate and take advantage of the scaffoldings while we're doing the works, you can do so. And there is a French artist which is called JR, He decided to decorate this with this super cool art installation. I mean, look at this. It looks like the facade is opening up. It's been ripped. And you can actually look inside, which is very relevant because I've been trying to get myself into this building for so long, but because of the renovation, it's been a little bit tricky because you can visit this place in certain times with
They had like a event recently, like it seemed to be either a gala or opera or something like that.
I think so. I'm not sure what event was that, but yeah.
So let me interrupt you there.
Yeah.
I did a video of the history of aperitivo right here.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed all the people coming out in very fancy dress and everything.
Okay. I see. Yeah, that's a very super cool place inside. There's a lot of frescoes. Even Michelangelo worked in this for the construction of this palace. So yeah,
That's impressive.
now it gives you an idea of how rich those Farnese, how powerful those Farnese family was. And yeah, so this JR, this French artist, he makes a lot of these kind of works.
Yeah.
You can Google it or look at his profile, and he made something similar in Florence, in Palazzo Strozzi. Always this kind of effect, like it's been almost as if he ripped the facade to show us what's inside.
Right.
Which,
It's impressive. And Joe work.
What do you mean, the word or the scaffolding?
Scaffolding, the actual thing, because there's barely scaffolding here in Rome, from what I see.
Okay.
And this is probably the prettiest scaffolding I've ever seen.
Yes, that's the most beautiful.
This is how scaffolding should be done.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I'm gonna do my next renovation works in my house, I'm gonna go JR to decorate my scaffold.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. Wow, beautiful. And the Farnese family, did they continue living on beyond the Pope, beyond the papacy?
Yes, and they also purchased Villa Farnesina, which is on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been. It's a super magical place.
Not inside yet, not yet.
But then, now they're not that. Slowly things started to decrease a little bit.
So let me. Someone asked how to spell Farnese, and someone wrote it. So here it is, Farnese. And you can find a bull that they commissioned. It's one of the more famous sculptures in the Naples Museum.
Yeah, they had properties a little bit everywhere.
Right.
And only the best of the best places and artists. But guys, you need to know that Rome in general is a lasagna of history.
Yeah, a lasagna of history.
Yeah, that's how I copyrighted this term, so you need to give me 1 cent for every time you use it. So basically, it's like, lasagna, no?
Yes.
Mamma mia, now I'm hungry. Layers and layers of pasta, one on top of the other. And Rome is like layers and layers of history, one on top of the other, in terms of buildings. Now, here we have a square that was designed in the 1500s, but also we have some ancient Roman ruins in here, right in front of our eyes. Can you guess where they are?
Right in front of our eyes. That's a good one.
Look around and see if you can find anything.
Let's show everyone. What do you think is the ancient Roman ruins right in front of our eyes here in this square?
I'm not telling you until you guess this, huh?
Ronald says, I love lasagna. Ali says, it's very much like Garfield. We have a cartoon character, I'm not sure if you heard.
Which one?
The orange cat named Garfield.
Ah, Garfield, of course.
He's a huge fan of lasagna. That's the only thing that really makes him smile.
He would love, did he ever come to Rome? Maybe we should invite him, no?
Okay, so Janice guessed the fountain. Anfal says, I'm not telling you all because they've probably seen either a show of yours or a video of yours.
Anfal, don't spoil me, please.
Dwayne says, it's a good question. Yes, it is indeed.
Okay.
Love all these buildings that I learned about, says Inspire Life. Yes, Inspire Life is an architect. So he really loves all these beautiful buildings in Rome. But yeah, only the fountain is the only guess that we forgot.
Who said that?
That was Janice.
Janice. 100 points to Janice.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Because these fountains, only this part, they belong to an ancient thermal bath that you mentioned earlier, the baths of Caracalla. Guys, people were bathing inside these bathtubs. Can you imagine? And then later they were placed in here, integrated with this bigger basin, and that part on top, and turned it into a fountain. And then the Farnese family placed that fior de lis, how do you call that? the lilium,
Yeah.
that's the emblem of the Farnese family, which you can find also on the facade of the palace.
Oh, they had the fleur de lis as their emblem. Interesting.
Yes, all that the liliums.
Did they have French ties?
Not sure. I'm not
That's
sure.
interesting.
Yeah.
No, because that is a very French city.
Yeah.
And let's get closer to the fountain over here. So people used to actually go into this bathtub.
Yes, and have their baths.
That is impressive, and let's go around it.
Yeah. In the thermal baths, there were huge pools and also small bathtubs. So yeah.
And also, people use these fountains as their water supply.
Exactly. That's why we have so many fountains in Rome. And in each room there were 11 aqueducts. 11, which is a lot.
That is a lot.
And there were fountains all over. But then the popes through the centuries, they also renovated and re-established those aqueducts. They built new ones, and still today we have a lot of fountains. I mean, of course, you don't drink water from here.
No, not anymore.
But we have a lot of nasone. I guess you've seen the nasone, no? The little fountains that we have all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still today we use those fountains to, especially in this. It's very hot here in the summer, so those fountains are just a bless.
Yeah, and they come out cold, the water as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Kay says, I would love a bathtub just like this.
Yes.
LAC says, your accent is amazing. You should do ASMR videos.
Me?
ASMR tour videos. Just speaking very softly.
I never got that comment so far.
So these are very whispered.
Yes.
What a breathtaking mural, says Chris. Yes, absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah.
And Chris, as we mentioned, they are scaffolding.
Yeah, that's not a mural. That's panels attached to the scaffolding. So, favorite place in Rome now.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Not, but if before.
Beautiful.
Or
Good service again.
okay. So Rome.
Well, let's wait because we have interrupt. Okay, now we're back.
Okay.
So what did you ask?
Yeah, I was asking you, Ariel, what's the? You've been to Rome a few times, and you also been for a long time, so you explored pretty much everything in the city.
Yeah.
After all of this, if you want to sum it up, what's your favorite thing about Rome? A place, a thing, or something? If you were to say, what's your favorite thing about Rome?
Walking around in Rome at night. And yesterday I was walking around the Piazza Navona, and it was absolutely breathtaking. So that is also one of my favorite locations, the Piazza Navona at night in Rome.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's my favorite place
cool.
too.
Oh, awesome.
and that's where we're going now.
Oh, perfect.
But I agree with you. Rome is so beautiful during the day, but during the night it's just
All the beautiful fountains, gorgeously lit.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. And what's your favorite place about Rome, guys? If you explored Rome a little bit, if you're following Ariel's tours.
Yes, do let us know. What's your favorite place in Rome? Marco asks, where's the tomb of Romulus, the very first king of Rome?
The tomb of Romulus? Okay, we don't have the tomb of Romulus because according to the legend, Romulus disappeared.
He disappeared?
Yes. It was like it just ascended to the sky. So yeah, we're still looking for that.
You just decide to go.
Yes. Because
he ghosted Rome.
Yeah, basically, exactly. So he's it's a legendary figure. So
right.
Legendary characters, they cannot just die as normal people, no?
Right.
So yeah. So we're still looking for that tomb.
There are coins after him. So there were depictions of him very early in Roman history. But yeah, no one knows for sure if he's 100% real.
Yeah, exactly. Because also the figure of Romulus was taken back in Auge. Do you say that? In Auge? You know, it kind of became more popular, especially under the empire of Augustus.
Okay.
Because Augustus, the legends of the foundations was already known by the Romans, but Augustus made sure it was written properly and he wrote down the proper legend. And Augustus came some centuries later, around 8 centuries later. So some information that we know today that come from the writings that took place during Augustus may not be 100% correct, because 8 centuries later maybe it's a little bit difficult to preserve information with precisely. But we don't have the tomb, but we have the first hut of Romulus, and that's on the Palatine Hill.
Oh yeah, you're right.
There's
it's a recreation?
Sorry?
It's a recreation, or is there
real.
Actual ancient
if you go in the Palatine, okay, we're crossing the street the Roman way with red traffic, with red light on. So yeah, we don't have the hut. We only have the base, because the huts of the first village hut of Rome, where Romulus founded the city, were built on rocks, on the rocks of the Palatine Hill. Yeah. And then the rest was made of wood. So the wood has gone lost, of course, after 2,000 years, over 2,000 years. But we know for sure that was the very place where Romulus founded the city of Rome, basically. So yeah. And
speaking of the hill, Palatine.
Let's go this way, because I want to show you something else. Yeah.
Speaking of Palatine Hill, Chris asked, and a few others asked, Dwayne asked if there's 7 hills in Rome.
There's more than 7 hills. Those 7 hills are part of the legend of Rome.
Okay.
There's more of that, and if you, for example, Google the 7 hills of Rome, you will see that there's different kinds of lists. On some lists, some hills are included, and on other lists, other hills are included and others are excluded. It depends on the scholar points of view, which hills are to be considered. But the most important are the Palatine, the Capitoline, the Quirinal, the Esquiline, where the Domus Aurea on Nero used to be, and then the other side, for example, the Vatican is a hill as well. It was on the outskirts of the city. Then we have the Janiculum. So yeah, it's a lot of them. Now. I'm going to show you this place, because in here we have something really curious.
Kay says that she likes every corner here. Oh.
Have you ever seen this before?
Yeah, I've shown it in my 2019 video, but it is a very interesting story.
Yeah. Guys, let me introduce you to Pasquino. This is Pasquino, and basically, who is Pasquino? This is one of the most famous Romans. This statue is a very ancient statue. It's so ancient that we don't even know exactly where this is coming from. We only have an idea, an hypothesis that this is a Patroclo holding Menelao while he's dying, which is basically, that's a person, you see? Yeah. He doesn't have these arms, but there used to be a arm that will end up with a hand in here. Now this that you see, it's a body of someone else that is dying. Okay. So basically this is the upper body, okay? And we're missing the shoulders, the head, and the legs in here. But anyways, regardless of that, this statue was placed in here during the centuries where the Pope was ruling Rome, and during the papal state, where not everyone really had freedom of thought or speech or saying whatever they wanted. So the Romans, they placed the statues in here, and then they were attaching little messages around it with the criticism to the Pope, to the most prominent families of Rome, to the cardinals that were ruling the city. They were placed in here at night, and then in the morning everybody would read what was written, but no one could be blamed for it, because Pasquino said that, not me. And still today this tradition kind of continues, and here we have a lot of messages some of them are, I don't know, for example, against the government or against the mayor, they criticize things and things like that, or against some personalities. Some of them are just funny. Like, for example, this one says, Pasquino, you talk too much. Pasquino, parli troppo.
Pasquino talks too much, yeah. Can you translate another one?
Let me first read, because some of them are vulgar. So, sotto il sole cocente mi godo un po' di riposo, dal palmetto con affetto. Here it says, under the burning sun, I'm enjoying a little bit of rest. From palmetto with love.
That's rather poetic.
This one, he says, I think that the statues, temples, or any historical monuments are marvelous things, because people that lived so long ago sweat and made a lot of effort to make them, and that's why today we should appreciate what we have. Oh, that's really nice.
That's very nice. So people are writing very nice messages.
Yeah,
doesn't seem too vulgar and too political.
No, yeah. Sometimes I'm scared to read them out loud without double checking first.
No, like burn the whoever.
Yes, exactly.
These are not. They don't seem like TikTok comments.
No. But the thing is.
Sorry to interrupt, but
No.
I posted a video of the Vatican, and if you're someone who respects the Vatican, at least somewhat, don't read the comments because they're vicious.
We give space to everyone to express themselves.
Right, of course.
But anyways, these are the paper versions. But just recently, actually, they opened up this. Okay, this is where you will read a lot of swear words, so be careful.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's not swear. Anyway, so if you scan this QR code, basically, maybe you can try to do that. You can go on this website and then write your pasquinata. That's how we call it from Pasquino. Pasquinata, it's a note that you leave on Pasquino. That's how it's commonly called. And basically, this appears on the screen. So we went digital with Pasquino.
That's really cool.
Yeah, the tradition continues.
So, write a message saying, "Slam that like button."
Yeah, and
that's so cool. That's so cool that they modernized Pasquino. So now Pasquino is now in the digital age.
Yeah. Exactly. Pasquino.
So I'm not sure if you were going to mention this, but there was notes here being written of a woman called La Papessa, which was the women pope, and it was the woman Madacci, Olimpia Madacci. Am I pronouncing the last name right?
Donna Olimpia Madalchini, but that was La Pimpaccia.
La Pimpaccia, but in English we would say Popessa.
Okay.
Which is the Pope, the women Pope.
It was the sister-in-law of the Pope, the Pope Innocenzo X, the Pamphili family.
Exactly.
Yes.
So notes were written here about her.
Yes, they also wrote about her and about the Pamphili family, because Donna Olimpia was a little bit of a funny character, funny. Basically, in Rome they were saying, if you need something, don't ask the Pope, ask Donna Olimpia, because basically whatever you were asking the Pope and the Pope didn't want to do it, Donna Olimpia would just, so we would talk to him somehow. There were rumors that they had a relationship as well. We don't know. Let's not be cheeky. And she was convincing the Pope of doing things. So, if you wanted to be someone counting something in the city, you have to be friends with Donna Olimpia. And
And her ghost still roams across the Ponte Sisto.
Yes.
Stay tuned. I'll be covering that in a separate video.
There's a lot of ghosts in Rome.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
So you better listen what Ariel says to you, so you don't bump into them without knowing when you come to Rome.
Well, I'm actually posting a video later today of a ghost that is very cheeky in Piazza Navona.
But do you actually know that Palazzo Farnese, the palace that we just saw earlier, it was said that it was full of ghosts, and that's why no one was buying the palace, and at some point the Council of Rome put it on for rent for €1 per year.
Oh, wow.
That's what the rumor says, and then the French embassy decided to get it for €1. We need to double check this information is correct, but that's the legend. So, and guys, welcome to our favorite place.
Oh my God, Piazza Navona.
Piazza Navona. How beautiful is this place?
That's wonderful.
This is a place where you should come like during the day, during the night, in the evening, because it kind of changes the vibe a little bit over, like, according to the time of the day. And yeah, it's just breathtaking, this place.
M says you're a wonderful tour guide.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Chris says we are so blessed to be walking in these streets of Rome.
Yeah.
Indeed, I do consider myself very grateful for being here.
Yes, absolutely.
And Joe says it's strange to see such an ancient city use electronic billboards and QR codes.
Yes.
Right. There is, Rome is both a modern city and a very old city as well.
Yes, exactly.
And we're only seeing a small snippet of the city because there's more modern parts of Rome, right?
Yeah. There is Eur district. There is there's a lot of for example, okay, these districts are more like not very central, so maybe you would, as a tourist,
usually don't go.
No, but they are nice to see as well.
Is there a very new modern part of Rome that you think people should at least check out if they're staying for a long time?
Eur is modern, but from the 1930s. That's super modern, brand new, fresh
in
from the
comparison to ancient Rome, yes.
Because Eur was built by, have you guys ever heard of Benito Mussolini, no?
Yeah.
The fastest dictator. Mussolini was doing this, building this kind of architecture, neoclassical style, which means he was taking elements of the ancient Roman architecture, but more stylized, more simplified. And Eur district is a perfect example for that. There is a building that we call the squared Colosseum, the Colosseo Quadrado, which is basically a building with a lot of arches, but it's squared and super, plain, very modern, very photogenic place. And also the Foro Italico, where the Olympic Stadium is.
Yeah.
There you have the Stadio dei Marmi, the Stadium of the Marbles, and everything is in this neoclassical style. I'm trying to think, very modern, we don't have like glass buildings in Rome, so if I think of it.
Not too much modern architecture either.
One very modern thing that you should go and see is, if you like contemporary art as well, is the Maxi Museum. It's in the Flaminio district in the north. You've been there?
No, I haven't been there, but is it designed by Zaha Hadid?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay.
If you don't like, I'm not so much into contemporary art, but if you like but the building itself is just like wow, it's amazing. It's like rectangular blocks together with different shapes. Designed by Zaha Hadid. It's called Maxi, MAXXI. Go and have a look because it's really, really beautiful.
So speaking of the shape, this is a very, very long piazza.
Exactly. Yes, it is.
It looks rather like it used to be used for something different.
Yeah. In fact, here we have another lasagna of history.
Nice.
Now, guys, I want you to tell me where is. So, wait. I'll give you a hint. Otherwise, it's too difficult. I'm too mean. Here we have a lasagna made of Baroque. Baroque is the style of the 1600s, of the fountains, these buildings, and also ancient Rome. Where is ancient Rome in here?
Ooh, okay, let me show around.
Let's give them a proper look around. Where is ancient Rome?
Hyde says, why not build in this classical style today? Modern architects think they have to reinvent everything. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. The US is actually officially, the US government now can only build in the classical style. Did you hear about that?
No, but I know you have a lot of buildings that took inspiration from ancient Rome, no?
We do, yeah, from the 1890s to about the 1940s.
Okay.
But now, by law, governmental buildings can no longer be built in the Brutalist style or in the Modernist style.
Oh, really?
By law, now they're forced to be classical again.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why is that? Do you know?
Our previous presidents really enjoyed old architecture. He did not like brutalism.
So he made this law, okay.
Yeah, I might have been a personal decision, I think.
Okay,
More than...
So maybe you will have a pantheon in Washington
maybe,
at some point.
Hopefully. I would say that's the one good thing from the previous administration. So Sarah says the street floor, but
almost.
Dean says it's an ancient circus.
Yes. Yeah, it's we don't call it circus, we call it stadium. But very close, very close. Well done, well done. And why is an ancient stadium? Have you noticed the shape of this square? It's like a hairpin shape. It's a very long surface with a curved end on one side and a flat land on the other side. So that used to be an ancient Roman stadium. Why not circus? Because circus, for example, is the Circus Maximus, and that's where you had the chariot races. In here, you didn't have chariot racing, but you had the foot run, the javelin, the fight, basically the Olympics sports. And this is what was happening in here. And this was the stadium of Domitian. Domitian, to give you an idea, is the son of Vespasian that built the Colosseum.
Yeah.
And the brother of Titus, which completed the Colosseum. And Vespasian built its stadium in here. So you need to imagine that where the buildings are today, all around us, the buildings are built on top of the spectator seats of the Stadium of Domitian. And there were over 30,000 spectators in here.
How much?
30,000 spectators.
30,000, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And you make a differentiation. Is it different from the Circus Maximus?
Yes, the Circus Maximus, it was much bigger. It was 250 spectators. 250,000 spectators.
But in terms of function, was it different from the Circus
Yes,
Maximus?
because in the Circus Maximus, you had, first of all, in the middle, you had a spine, and then instead of sports, like the Olympics that were taking place in here, you will have chariot races. So those charioteers running with chariots pulled by horses, and they will going round and round. They will make different laps, usually 7 laps around the spine, at like 4 at the time, and then the first one to arrive will win. And so that was the Circus Maximus. This is a stadium, so it was a different kind of views inside.
Oh, I see. And Rocket says there's an underground level.
Yes, it's an underground level, and you can actually visit the underground.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I will show you a little bit of this as we go that direction.
So what are we seeing right here?
Here, my dears, we are seeing like my favorite thing ever in Rome. If you were to ask me what's my favorite thing, is this fountain. This is the fountain of the 4 rivers by Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Bernini is the genius of Baroque when it comes to sculpture. How amazing is this? When I say Baroque, I mean a style that developed especially in Rome in the 1600s. And this style is all about surprise, it's all about interaction, and it really gets into your emotion. Why interaction? Because this sometimes you don't just stare at it and look at it, you need to walk around it.
So what sea are we seeing here, or river?
So basically this fountain is called the Fountain of the 4 Rivers because there's 4 rivers, represented by the 4 guys. And each river represents a continent, the continents of the world that were known at the time. For example, here we have the Ganges River, so this represents the continent of Asia. The rivers were usually represented as like these super big and strong guys, super fit, laying down in this position with this long beard. And the Ganges River has a wooden post in his hand. Yeah. And this means, hi, I'm the Ganges and I'm navigable, so you can navigate me. And
the Ganges, so they were thinking about India all the way back then.
Yeah, so this is Asia.
Asia, yeah.
And then we also need to look at the details. Look at this like kind of snake all over this, these fantastic villagers around. If you go and walk around this the fountain, first of all we have...
Chris says that they look intense. Yes,
Bernini very much.
Did that a lot.
Very much, yeah. And that's what Baroque is all about. If you think of, if you think Baroque is exaggerated, it's extravagant, it's something that you're like, what? You know, like this is the reaction. If you think of Renaissance, you think of a painting by Raphael. Everything is so perfect and elegant and harmonic. That's Renaissance. Baroque is like drama and intense, as you said, exaggerated, and things that are a little bit fantastic.
Let me give a good modern day equivalent. In cinema in the 30s and 40s in America, we had the golden age of cinema, which was very kind of light-hearted stories like Roman Holiday, and very fun, very romantic. And then you had Italian neorealism, like Bicycle Thief.
Yes.
A punch to the gut in drama. So that was kind of the difference back then in terms of paintings and sculpture.
And then here you see this lion. Look at the lion. It's like looking at us.
Yeah.
Looks threatening, no?
Ready to hunt.
And look at this palm tree. Look at the palm tree. It's made of travertine stone, a very hard material, but it almost looks like it's floating with the wind.
Wow.
This is the magic that Bernini was doing, making things like very sturdy and hard things look so soft and you know, hairy. And then look at this. So here we have another river.
Remember, people back then did not have movies or books, at least not most people. So this was their entertainment.
Exactly.
Coming here and seeing these wonderful sculptures.
Also, yes, exactly. And in here we have another river. This guy looks like he's pulling a t-shirt over his face. And this is the Nile River. The Nile River. So the river of Egypt. So this represents Africa. And he's covering his face. Why? Because at the time of construction of this fountain, the springs of the Nile River were not known at the time. So that's why they covered his face. Because almost as if we don't know his face, we don't know his springs, where the water is coming from.
Oh,
so, yeah.
I see, because the heart of the Nile still was unknown back then.
Exactly.
Still kind of is unknown. No one really knows what the exact source is.
So yeah, and also look at the details. Can you see the flesh of the tide of this river pushing against the rock?
We can, so let me zoom in on that.
It almost looks like it's real. It's a real body, no?
It is very impressive how Bernini did this.
It's
Not
amazing.
even modern sculptors do this too much.
He's amazing.
And LAC says, was this really designed by one person? So Bernini, like modern artists like Weiwei, are never really working alone. So yes, he's the guy who designed everything. Might have carved many things, but he had a team.
So he designed the whole fountain, but the only thing that there is only one thing that he made himself with his own hands, which is on the other side, and is the horse. Okay. The rest, each statue was made by different helpers of his. Best of the best at his disposal. So,
do you have anyone that would go on to be very famous?
Yes, we have one that is called Ercole Terrata.
Okay.
That he made also a statue that is inside the church. He is just very brilliant. But you need to imagine that, of course, Bernini was a very strong personality. So, you know, these guys were good, but just that little bit below him. Otherwise, he would not accept them to be, you know, if you try to imagine the psychology, I mean, Bernini, for his kind of personality, he always wanted to be at the center of the attention, you know. So, yeah, he took with him people that were really good, but that little bit less, so that he could still manage them. So, yeah.
Janice says, can we show the snake? Which is the snake over here?
We have a lot of snake. We have one of, well, this is like a weird creature. Let's see if this is a snake. Yeah. But there's another snake on the other side.
And let me pause you here. What's this monster over here?
Which one? This?
That one, yeah, with the scales.
This, it's up to you to interpret.
It looks like an armadillo.
Yes. These are like fantastic creatures that you know, he was imagining to find all around the planet. And look at the back of the lion sticking out. The lion that we've seen earlier. No?
And you can imagine that people back here in the Baroque times would come into the fountain. Actually, maybe kids would go through the fountain because they would be able to use it as their water supply.
Yeah, you know what they were doing in every August for many years. Now we don't do this anymore. Basically, what they were doing, they were closing the drainage holes of the fountain, and the water will come out. And then the water will flow the whole square, and the whole square will become like, let's say, a swimming pool. Of course, I mean, the water will just go up until here, it will not cover your whole body. But people were having, you know, wetting their feet, and then the rich people would come in here and show off their carriages, which I think, I mean, what's the fun of this? But that's how they had fun back then. So yeah, that was like the swimming pool of Rome, you know.
So one other detail that I read was that the rich people would stay in their beautiful homes and see the lower income people playing in the pool. Yes. That was like their form of entertainment.
Yes.
That's kind of hard to believe that they would plug this and it would flood.
Yeah.
Is it the elevation change somehow?
Yes, because can you see here on the ground there is like a side of, like, how do you say, footwalk.
It's gradients would be the more
so basically this step
gradient.
wasn't here, and the square was a little bit concave.
Oh.
So that's why, If you Google Piazza Navona, like a swimming pool, let's say, I don't know how you can, what's the keyword for that, but in English, you can see pictures in black and white of the flooding inside the piazza, and you can see that the square is a little bit concave in the middle, so that the water will just accumulate in the middle, and then it will make like a swimming pool. And
did they do sea battles here for ancient times?
No. The sea battles we know that they were happening in Trastevere, in a building that Augustus built, the Naumachia. No longer exists today, so you cannot visit it. And in the Colosseum, apparently, still not 100% sure if they were happening, but there's sources that says that they were doing naval battles inside the Colosseum before the underground tunnels were built. By Domitian, by the way, which is the one that built the stadium in here.
Domitian, was he known as one of the 5 good emperors? I know Vespasian was.
Domitian is one of the emperors that it was a little bit about not the one of the good emperors.
He's not known as the good ones. Okay.
No.
Who's this guy over here?
So this guy is Rio de la Plata. You're from Puerto Rico, no? You said.
I am.
You speak a little bit of Spanish.
Sí, yo soy fluente en español.
Perfetto. Yes. So, can you see? There's the coin.
Oh my God!
What does plata mean in Spanish?
Plata, coin or silver.
Exactly, and that's why we have coins right in there. Rio de la Plata.
This is North America. It's just this is the Americas.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
This is the Americas, and now come this way. Actually, look at this. Now here there is a legend. Now Rio de la Plata. Okay, the fountain was made by Bernini.
Yeah.
The facade of this church was made by Borromini. Troubles. Borromini and Bernini were 2 geniuses of Baroque, and they were rival. Their rivalry is legendary. And what they do, and apparently the legend is that Bernini, he built the Rio de la Plata with this hand like this.
Yeah, and I think this is Borromini, right? Right here.
Yes, that's Borromini. Yes.
So right there, Borromini.
Yes, and basically that's the statue of Rio de la Plata is doing like this with his hand, almost as if he's to say, "Mamma mia, this is so ugly. I don't like this."
Oh my God, they really did not like each other.
Yes.
Well, at least Bernini did not like Borromini.
Yeah, well, they loved each other, but they hated each other as well because of the rivalry. Of course, this pushed each one of them to do better, which was a healthy rivalry.
Right.
But the rivalry was more about because Bernini was a little bit cheeky, and especially on some occasions, it did not pay Borromini for his works, or it took the credit for what Borromini has done.
Right.
So Borromini, he didn't care about the money, but he wanted to have credit for the things he was doing. And Bernini, when they were working together, he took all the credit for that. So he was very disappointed, and he eventually even committed suicide. Borromini.
Yeah, so sad.
Yeah, it's very sad.
So,
even this fountain, it was initially commissioned by Borromini. But Bernini, speaking of Donna Olimpia, he was very clever. He was, this Napolitan personality. He was from Naples. He had this expansive personality, very sociable. And this fountain was commissioned to Borromini. And Bernini was like, I want to do that fountain myself. So he made a silver model of this fountain and gave it not to the Pope, but to Donna Olimpia. And Donna Olimpia convinced his brother-in-law to commission this fountain to Bernini, to remove the project from Borromini and to give it to Bernini. And apparently when Donna Olimpia placed this silver model on one of the rooms of the house of the Pope was like, that's it. I mean, to get rid of Bernini, you should not even look at his models, because when you look at them, you just can't help by giving him the commission. So that was a very big disappointment for Borromini. Another disappointment, and this signed actually one of his biggest faults, like psychological faults, and so that's really sad.
Borromini at least was a very good structural engineer.
Yeah, he was an architect.
Bernini not so much. Yeah. So luckily Bernini did not build huge structures like these, or at least too many, because it would have been dangerous. Bernini knew that Borromini was much better at architecture. Yeah.
So when Bernini as well, he had a very down moment. He studied architecture and he also built a church, the Church of Sant'Andrea al Quirinale, which is very beautiful. Very different style from Borromini. Borromini was more about simple and plain. Look, Borromini, it's more like modern style today. Today we appreciate it much more. Bernini style was very lush and exaggerated and super luxury things with colorful marble inside. So very different styles. Yeah, and that is one of the churches that he made. But mainly, yeah, it was a sculpture more than an architect.
Oh wow! Let's walk over here. And let's show the last one.
Yes.
So we can complete the circle.
And
Joe says watching Ariel and Federica is worth losing sleep because he's watching in North American time. So it's about like 4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m.
4 or 5 a.m.
So you see the horse? The horse is the only thing
Yeah.
that Bernini made with his own hands.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The rest was made by his helpers, let's say. And in here we have.
Sorry, Chris has a very compelling question. Were slaves involved in building this? Because
No.
in North America we have a different history. So here, not really.
No, you can imagine slavery was more an ancient Roman thing.
Yes.
Yeah. After that, no.
Pretty much not at all.
Yeah.
And were there? I assume a lot of the people here were really expert craftsmen. That are part of
Expert?
experts.
Craftsmen?
Craftsmen, yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
they were part of guilds or clans.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. In fact, because in here, Rome was the city of the Pope, and the popes were, they wanted to make Rome the capital of the Pope. No, a city that it was earned the position as the center of the church. So they made beautiful capitals, beautiful squares. So this is where the commissions were. So a lot of artists came from all over Italy and from all over Europe to actually hope to get a commission and to get very good visibility. Because if you were building a fountain in the middle of a square commissioned by a pope, you would be like, that would be a huge jump in your career. So
Right.
yeah, of course here there was a very high concentration of craftsmen, exactly. Also in ancient Rome. Just in the Middle Ages that was not the case. But in ancient Rome and later on Renaissance and Baroque especially, yes, there was a lot of craftsmen in here.
So who's the last person we have here?
This is the Danube River. The Danube River, so this represents Europe. And the Danube River is holding the emblem
Oh, Danube. Okay.
of the Pope, which is the dove with a laurel leaf mouth.
Fascinating.
Because the boat is in Europe.
Yeah.
So that's the Danube River in Europe. And also look at the details, look at this fish. This is a very clever way to hide the drainage hole of the
my
fountain.
God! Wow.
How cool is that? So the water is recycled.
Ingenious. And Dean says you explain everything so well.
Thank you.
Rona says also you explain everything so well. Chris says worth being up so early. And Janice, yep, you're right. This is the Danube, which the ancient Romans, who was it? Domitian. It was one of the main emperors that took over the Danube.
Trajan, yes.
It was Trajan. Trajan.
Yeah.
Right there. Is it hot today in Rome? Yes, it is.
Yes.
I want to jump into this pool.
Me too. Well, you can do that, just you need to pay some consequences after.
They'll fine you, right? If you jump into the pool,
Yeah, you cannot do that, guys. I'm just kidding.
So where to next? Where you want to show in here in the square?
Let's go that direction because I want to give you a little glimpse of of what's below our feet.
And if anyone has questions, feel free to ask.
Absolutely.
I have one more question. Is the obelisk? How many are? Do you know how many are in Rome from ancient Egypt?
There's around 18, but this is a secret, guys. Guys, don't tell anybody. This is not an ancient Egyptian obelisk.
This is not the ancient Egyptian one.
This is a fake that the ancient Romans made. In fact, I don't know if anybody of you reads hieroglyphics. Imagine if someone says, yes, I do.
I'm fluent.
I'm fluent, yeah. So if you are an ancient Egyptian emperor and you can read the hieroglyphics, you need to know that these hieroglyphics are nonsense because they were just a copy that the Romans made. And yeah, this was in the Circus of Massenches on the Appian Way. You know, the Appian Way was one of the main roads, so it's in the outskirts of Rome. And Massenches built his own suburban villa with his circus included, and this was in the center of the circus. And he was moved in here for this fun time. Yeah.
Oh my God! Can't believe they wrote gibberish.
Oh, and one thing, if you're looking for a really cool happy hour in Rome, like my best favorite place, absolute favorite. Like I don't have words enough to describe this. It's on top of this building. And it's called Terrata Boromini, and it's a super, super posh, very expensive place. Like if you have a glass of wine, you pay like 20 euros.
Oh my God.
25.
That is expensive. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
Is it aperitivo? No?
Yes, yeah, they give you just very little snacks. But oh my God, the view, guys. You know, the first time I went in there, I entered and I didn't speak for 5 minutes because I was looking. You see everything. You see the Pantheon's dome, you see St. Peter, you see the Janiculum Hill. You see everything, and you basically are in front of the, you're in there, and you see the top of the obelisk right in front of you. No, it's amazing. So if you're looking for something very special to celebrate, a place for a very special occasion, that's the place where you should go, Terrata Boromini.
Terrata Boromini. And Alan says, how old is the fountain? So the fountains, all three of them date back to the Baroque era, which is around
1600s. Yeah,
1600s.
In the 1600s. And and this is where Donna Olimpia was living, in this palace.
Pamphilio Pamphili, Palazzo Pamphilio.
Palazzo Pamphili, exactly. This was basically the square of the Pamphili family.
The private square.
It was their own courtyard, basically.
The popes made quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Very nice job.
Yeah, that's a nice job to do. If you're interested, guys, you can, apply.
You can apply, right. You just got to be a cardinal for like 30, 40 years or more. Would you recommend any of these cafes? I know that they will probably be very expensive and not so good food, but just out of the bunch, would you recommend any for someone to sit down?
I never tried any of these because as a Roman, you don't really go and sit in these places because they're considered to be very touristy. So I don't want to say this is not good or this is good because I don't know. I've tried only once the Tartufo. This is the restaurant Tre Scalini because I studied on a course from a professor from Yale about the Roman architecture, and she mentioned, you should try the Tartufo, the Tre Scalini, and I was like, never tried. So I have to try, no? I mean, someone from the US telling me, that's very good, so I need to go and try. It's very good. It's basically a gelato in a tartufo shape, round, with chocolate. I think it's a little bit overrated, to be honest, but that's something very popular among tourists.
They claim to have made one of the first ones also.
Yeah, but tartufo is not really something that we eat. I mean, I don't know, it's just, sometimes, it's like, pasta Alfredo sauce that we don't have in Italy, but in the US it's so popular apparently.
Yeah, but there is one place here that claims to be the inventor of Alfredo.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Alfredo, that's the name of the restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any pasta like that, such pasta like that. If you ask my grandma about the Alfredo sauce, she was like, what? Like this? What are you talking about?
No one mixed chicken with pasta.
Oh, mamma mia, chicken with pasta, like this is disaster. So, okay.
And you have it with a nice Aperol spritz.
Yes, yeah.
If you want to give the nonna a heart attack.
Yes, yeah. Every time someone puts chicken in a pasta, an Italian nonna dies in the world. So this is this shop. This is a historical shop of Rome. It's a toy store. And inside they sell super beautiful toys, and also it's a dolls hospital. They fix dolls. It's one of the very few places, like maybe in the world, that fixes dolls. And I spoke to the guy that is the owner, and he told me that he showed me some pictures of some works that he's done. Someone brought to him like a doll which was basically in dust, in bits and pieces, and he made it all anew. So that's a service. So if you have a doll that needs, maintenance or recovery, you can take it in here. And the guy charges, I think, €8 per hour, which is I don't think it's a lot.
It doesn't sound too much.
I mean, it depends on which conditions you bring the doll, of course. Wow. But he makes miracles.
Pro tip: bring your doll over here. Clinica della bambola, which means what? The clinic of the
dolls?
The
dolls, yeah. Bambola means doll, yes.
It's a doll clinic over
yes.
there.
And then they have super cool...
Can we go in? Let me show you from the outside.
I don't know if he's gonna let us in. Maybe we can try to ask.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm gonna... Yeah. Let's see. I like your mask.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, ask first, and then I'll wait out here.
Ciao, buonasera. Senti, una domanda, noi stiamo facendo uno streaming live su YouTube, ma possiamo entrare e facciamo vedere un po'? Gli stavo raccontando anche della clinica della bambola. Va bene? Ok? Solo se è ok, eh? Facciamo vedere. Il museo sopra di sì. Ok, va
Aria,
bene,
you
allora
said the
entriamo,
Italians
grazie.
dislike something, but tourists love. Pizza? No, not pizza, but something.
Green light.
What? Oh, green. Awesome. Perfect. Let's go inside. Oh wow, beautiful.
So here we have any sort of toy. Look at this eggs and here we have. No, look at this giraffe.
That's so cool. It's so big.
And,
wow, beautiful store.
Yeah.
Do you know how old it is?
We can ask him. One second.
Right. How much?
Okay.
Service.
Yeah. C'è tanto segnale, sennò continuavamo dentro.
Grazie mille.
Ma da quant'è che è aperto questo negozio? 80 anni. Ok, so 80 years.
80 years, wow.
Yeah.
So let me show you just a little bit here from this perspective.
Yeah.
Are those toys for children, not
Yes.
collectors?
Yeah, exactly. So, you have a little bit of everything. You have also the museum of the dolls behind, and you have dolls like designer dogs from. Some of them are really, really expensive. Like if you want to have a proper special doll from your trip to Rome, that's a good place.
You can even take a little gun.
It says Roma.
Roma, yeah. Oh, that's a.
Yeah.
Oh, Roma. Okay.
Yes, yes.
I think it said Broma, which means a joke. Yeah.
And look at this here. You have also a lot of ancient Roman reproductions of, reproduction of ancient Roman statues in miniatures.
Wow.
These are super cool. You have the she-wolf with Romulus and Remus.
So this is the foundation myth of Rome. Romulus and Remus suckling on the she-wolf.
Yes, yeah. And here you have the chariots with the horses, gladiators, and here are reproductions of coins.
And then this is a souvenir I see a lot.
Yeah.
Little stone tablets.
Now, the guy the other day was telling me that these coins, they are made so well that the police investigated on the producers of the producers of this because they're like, where did you take the original one to make such a copy? Because they thought maybe they stole some real coins and made the copies because just to give you an idea of how well they are made.
Right.
To be investigated for it. We don't want to know.
That's a good pro tip. Okay, so these coins are very close to the original. 15 euro. Oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely coming back here. That's wonderful. You're in the neighborhood of Boromini. Yes, we are, Alex. Yes, we are. Oh, beautiful. So I highly recommend coming into this store. You'll definitely have a blast. There's very bad service inside the store because a lot of these buildings are very thick walls.
Look at this, how cute. You guys know Pinocchio?
Pinocchio, yeah! Who takes place in Italy, right? But in a different town.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Giuseppe.
Yeah.
Marco asks, how is it living in Rome?
Okay, you will hear a lot of different things. I love it. It depends also on what you do. For example, if you need to take the car every single day to go to work, that can be very stressful.
I can imagine.
As well as public transportation. I go around by bike because I'm mostly in the center of Rome for my job. And by bike is like the most amazing things you can do in Rome because you don't care about the traffic, you don't care about late public transport and things like that. So yeah, I removed a lot of the stress, of the pain of living in here. But I mean, it depends on what you do. For me, like I feel it helped me so much going through this pandemic because you know, I go out and I see beauty all over. I know this may sound like, oh my God, yeah, so much philosophy.
We get it. Rome is beautiful now.
No, but it's like, you know, when you're down, you know, you're one of those down days, and you go out and you see Piazza Navona, you're like, oh, mamma mia, this is so beautiful. You know, it kind of puts you up a little bit. I mean,
I feel it's very similar in New York. Yeah, where like New York, like you can't help but be amazed by the gigantic skyscrapers. Same as here with the Piazza Navona. Yeah.
It's amazing how a place fills you up so much, even if it's just a place. You know, you take a walk and you feel that little bit better. And yeah, that's what Rome makes me feel like. I wouldn't see myself in other place. Well, not because I'm here to sell you Rome. It's just the way I feel. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's good that you really deeply love the city. It's very needed for a tour guide.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Sometimes there's tour guides who don't like their city.
No. No, guys, this is the ruins of the Stadium of the Missions that is below the stadium, below Piazza Navona. You see this arch? This is the entrance of the stadium that athletes used to use to get inside the stadium.
Wow.
Yes, this was the main entrance, and the athletes will enter in here and get into the arena, let's say, where they were running and fighting and playing with the javelin and things like that. So everything was made of travertine stone, and all around it there were arches. It was a little bit like the Colosseum. No, the Colosseum is made of a lot of arches, one next to each other.
Yeah.
Same was in here, 2 stories of arcades. Now I want to show you something.
This was 2 stories, and let me show a little bit more of the details.
So this was 1 story, and there will be another one on top.
Someone's asking a great question. Chris is asking a great question. He says that he's heard that Rome has a high crime rate compared to cities like New York. I don't really feel that. I feel very safe in Rome. How do you feel?
I think Rome is quite a safe place.
Yeah.
I've been to New York many times, and I felt much safer in here. Maybe because
right, precisely.
Yeah. No, I don't think. Wait. Maybe a lot of pickpocketing.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to go, but small crimes maybe on this kind of. Yeah, like you need to be careful when you take your bag.
Let me just preface it. Like especially in American media and other countries, they tend to sensationalize. So if some terrible crime happens to one person or 2 or 3 people, they tend to make it big and make it seem like a huge deal. Unfortunately, horrible crimes can happen in any city around the world. You might be in the most beautiful cities in Scandinavia or in the most gigantic cities in Mexico City or Shanghai. You could encounter terrible crimes. It just happens.
Yeah.
So here I feel very safe, and you as a woman, do you feel safe walking around this?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
There we go. So yeah, that's no, I hope that answers your question.
People are scared of me, that's why. I'm just kidding, guys, I always kid.
How do you say The Godfather in Spanish? Like, what's the...
Padrino.
No, but what's the female version? Well, it's the matriarch.
La madrona? No, we don't say that. I don't know, actually.
Like the female boss.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but... donna.
La donna. You are la donna.
Donna Federica.
Donna Federica. Okay, so what were you about to say? You wanted to show something?
Yeah, so this was the entrance. So that was the street level back then.
Okay.
And this is, compared to the street level we have today, it's much lower. And over there is a panel that shows how the piazza looked like.
Joe, thank you so much for watching. We just have a little bit left.
Yes.
This is our last stop, I think. Yeah.
So this is Piazza Navona today. You see? This is the piazza, the square, the church of Boromini, the 3 fountains. This is where the shop of the dolls was. Now we are in here. And look at how 2,000 years ago this place looked like. You see? The piazza basically recalls exactly the same shape of the Stadium of the Missions. This was the stadium. So flat